Hey guys, I wanted to talk about a game I just played on Game Pass, actually, Go Mecha Ball. Even though it sounds kind of very self-explanatory, kind of an odd name, this is actually a pretty good action roguelike. It's funny, it's actually not super long. It's maybe 4 or I think 5 levels, but the mechanics are just, it's something that's meant to be experimented with, played a lot, and it's a typical roguelike, but it's just really good. And so what it is, the Go Mecha Ball aspect, you hold down the L trigger to kind of turn yourself into a ball, and you click right to ram into people, and that's kind of what the gameplay revolves around. Besides that, you also have firearms that you can pick up. You can hold 2 of each, and you kind of find out what works best. And what gets really interesting is, of course, as you go through in a typical roguelike fashion, you unlock more pickups, more upgrades, and there's different kind of strategies that evolve. So one thing, it'll reward you for ramming into enemies. Vis-a-vis, it will basically give you things like increased fire rate after you bump into someone. You can increase the damage it does. You can do you do multiple dashes or dash cooldown. It'll do things like if an enemy's on low health, you do more damage, things like this. Then there are different strategies where it just you can upgrade basic gun attacks, upgrade aerial attacks. When you're in the air, the gun does more damage. When you land on enemies, it does way more damage. And there's just really cool strats you can get into. There's also 4 characters you can unlock. One that specializes in gunplay, one that specializes in the ramming ability, and one that specializes in abilities. So you also get these abilities which are tied to the triggers, and so those triggers will do things like throw a grenade or throw an EMP or things like that. And then of course the last card you have that you start with is the all-rounder. It's a pretty short game. It's a pretty standard basic roguelike, but I just had a lot of fun with it, more than other roguelikes I've had. It's definitely something I would absolutely recommend. Also, another nice thing is that it's an isometric map, and there's kind of different levels, and not different levels, but different like elevation points. And so if you actually bump an enemy off a point using your dash attack, they'll take a lot of damage when they fall down. So it really does incentivize you to use that dash attack a lot. And it has a wide variety of different enemies. It's all very abstract, which I like. You have like things that are kind of like crawly things. You have these giant like motor things. You have normal enemies that just shoot you. All the bosses are really interesting. They're fun. They each have their own strategy to them. One is more aerial based, etc. One is like kind of an octopus. Another one is like area AOE based. But yeah, it's I think it's perfect as roguelike, because you will pretty much almost always make it to the 4th stage and fail there, and you really need to push it to make it to the end of the 5th stage and beat the boss, and then you can start really unlocking a lot of cool stuff, and then it goes up. Another thing, of course, I have to mention, as with roguelikes, they're all very, very similar, right? So the aesthetic here, the music are really, really passionate, really fun, really good. It has definitely this hyper techno kind of vibe to it, where everything's hyper tech focused. Everything's very fast paced, very intense. Lots of really good sound effects. The music is definitely kind of electronic, but also very kind of hardcore, I guess you could say. Lots of drum and bass and things like that. Lots of heavy stems, more so dubstep, I think would be the correct interpretation. Of course, there's hard mode that you can lock if it's really not hard enough for you. But yeah, there's really not much to say. It's one of these games that I was playing it and it reminded me, oh, this is what a video game is like. This is a video game-esque video game. We're not trying to represent reality or some other kind of, historical period or whatever with this. We're trying to represent like a actual totally abstract experience, an actual game with a completely weird and wild visual and aesthetics. And I really can't say anything else except it's really cool. One really funny reference I saw in this game is one of the weapons is called Quack 2. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure that's a reference to Quake 2. And what it is, it's a shotgun that shoots 2 outward bullets. There's lots of cool things like there's the energy weapons, which tend to go through multiple, chain multiple opponents. There are the machine guns, which have higher rates of fire. And then you have plasma weapons, which kind of go slower, but they bounce around the room and do kinds of stuff. I really don't think there's there's also this little shop thing right before each boss, so you can spend that money on unlocking a new character or a weapon or ammo and health and other or an upgrade and other such things. But it's actually a really fun game. I give it a shot. I think it's pointless to me to keep talking about it. I'd just go out and try it. I don't know what else to say. It's a pretty neat game, and I check it out. All right, see you later, guys.